Welcome back to Metabolomics Made Simple. For this explainer, we're putting on our detective hats and stepping right into the role of a special investigator. We are setting out to uncover the real cellular mechanisms behind chronic symptoms like fatigue and autoimmune flare-ups. We aren't just looking at surface-level symptoms today. We're bypassing all of that and diving straight into the microscopic world of metabolomics to find the root cause of the biological fires burning inside us. So who exactly is the arsonist inside your cells? It's a pretty compelling question, isn't it? To figure that out, we have to completely shift our entire understanding of inflammation. When we hear the word inflammation, we almost always picture a macroscopic physical reaction, like a red, swollen ankle after a bad sprain, or maybe a fever when you've got a bug. But the condition we are investigating today is a totally invisible cellular crime scene, and it's happening right now, deep down within your biochemistry. Okay, let's dive into this. We aren't dealing with a typical acute injury here. We are dealing with something called meta-inflammation. This is a low-grade, non-resolving chronic inflammation. I want you to think of it as an invisible cellular friction. The source material points out that our bodies are constantly trying to process environmental toxins and synthetic molecules that simply did not exist in our ancestral environments. When your body doesn't recognize these weird modern inputs, it creates this dangerous microscopic friction that just slowly, quietly erodes our cellular vitality. To catch our culprit, consider this our official case file. 1. Investigating the cellular arsonist. 2. The false alarm explained. 3. The arachidonic acid alert. 4. Tracking the metabolic debris. And finally, 5. The metabolic fireman.
Let's open up the first section of our case file, investigating the cellular arsonist and finding those metabolic fingerprints.
You see, if we actually want to find the root cause of these chronic issues, your standard blood tests usually just hit a dead end. Why? Because they completely miss the tiny fingerprints left behind by our arsonist, the metabolites. Look at this quote from the immunometabolism research. It shows how metabolomics acts as our high-powered magnifying glass. By measuring these tiny molecules, we can literally sense the metabolic abnormalities. We can pinpoint the exact moment that cellular friction begins, way before a patient experiences any severe macroscopic disease symptoms. We're talking about catching the arsonist before the house even catches on fire.
That brings us right to our next clue, Section 2, the false alarm explained, and exactly why your immune system gets locked in attack mode.
There is this massive misconception out there that in autoimmune and chronic inflammatory conditions, your immune system is just broken or making a mistake. But look at this staggering number, 80,000 plus. Seriously, wrap your head around that. The metabolic perspective reveals your immune system is actually responding completely logically to what it perceives as a highly hostile environment. That number represents the estimated volume of environmental toxins, pollutants, and synthetic industrialized molecules our bodies are forced to process every single day. Our cells are interacting with a modern environment that our DNA simply doesn't have the ancestral code to recognize. Let's break down how this builds into a rapid cascade. Step 1. We get exposed to these unrecognizable toxins. Step 2. The immune system detects these foreign entities, sometimes leaking right through the intestinal lining, and it logically assumes there's an active infection, violently shifting into attack mode. But here is the real problem. Because the exposure literally never stops, we hit Step 3, chronic meta-inflammation. The immune system is constantly releasing pro-inflammatory cytokines to immobilize you and heal what it thinks is an injury. It's a perfectly logical defense mechanism that becomes highly destructive simply because the alarm never shuts off.
So, what exactly is fueling this continuous alarm? We shift our investigation to Section 3, the arachidonic acid alert, the smoking gun in our modern diet.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the drastic, totally unnatural shift in our fatty acid profiles. Fatty acids aren't just for storing energy. They are the actual messengers of your immune response. Human biology evolved with an ancestral diet providing roughly a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. But today, the industrialized Western diet blasts us with a massive 15-to-1 ratio. This isn't just some minor nutritional footnote. According to the research, this severe imbalance is a direct driver of chronic, non-resolving inflammation.
Let's look at the metabolic fingerprints of this massive imbalance. Linoleic acid, which is an omega-6 found heavily in industrial seed oils, converts right into arachidonic acid, or AA. Think of these molecules as pro-inflammatory software signals. Because there is just so much omega-6 in the system, it completely overpowers the anti-inflammatory pathways of omega-3s like EPA and DHA. The result?
Your body easily flips the switch to start the inflammation process, but it completely lacks the software signals to turn it back off. Your cells undergo severe oxidative stress, which we can literally visualize as a biological rusting of your tissues.
And that oxidative stress leads us right into Section 4, tracking the metabolic debris, or as I like to call it, the factory without exhaust filters.
To really grasp what's happening during this cellular rusting, I want you to picture your metabolism as a massive, intricate factory. The human body is essentially a machine that burns carbon in the presence of oxygen to create energy. But, just like a real-world factory, this complex process inherently produces exhaust. When these chemical reactions happen, they leave behind biological smoke, toxic residues, and free radicals. And this brilliantly illustrates the core of our metabolic crisis. Your natural energy production creates this free radical smoke. Normally, your biological factory has built-in exhaust filters, powerful antioxidants, and essential nutrients like zinc, vitamin C, and magnesium that neutralize the smoke before it can do any damage. But because of our modern nutrient-depleted diets, the factory is missing those vital filters, so the unneutralized smoke just builds up, causing that severe cellular rusting. Without those natural nutritional defenses, the immune system stays highly agitated, triggering that continuous, unresolving meta-inflammation.
All right, Section 5, the metabolic fireman. It's time to pivot to the actionable fix.
So let's recap. We have a cellular factory absolutely full of smoke, an immune system locked in attack mode, and a diet flooded with pro-inflammatory software signals. The case looks pretty grim, doesn't it? But it's time to introduce the hero of our investigation, the metabolomic fireman. As the clinical data shows, we no longer have to guess in the dark. Metabolomic analysis acts as our fireman, measuring these exact chemical reactions in real time. We can pinpoint exactly where your specific factory is breaking down and exactly which filters are missing from your unique biology.
So the crucial point is how we actually step in and surgically extinguish these invisible fires. First, we supply the raw code, targeted omega-3s like EPA and DHA to correct that skewed 15-to-1 ratio and give the body the anti-inflammatory software it desperately needs. Next, we install the missing filters, providing the exact antioxidants like vitamin C and zinc that your metabolomic test shows are deficient. We can even utilize powerful tools like molecular hydrogen to rapidly neutralize that built-up free radical debris. By providing exactly what the cell requires, we can surgically switch off the cellular false alarm.
Our investigation today reveals a really empowering truth. Chronic inflammation isn't just bad luck. It's a measurable, totally correctable mismatch between our ancient cellular biology and our modern environment. By looking through the lens of metabolomics, we can see the exact chemical fires burning inside us, which leaves you with one vital question to ponder about your own metabolic health. Right now, are your cells building a fire, or are they building a firewall? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious with us here at Metabolomics Made Simple.